do something I don't normally do on this podcast and actually greet you all. Hello, welcome to the Many Thoughts I Have podcast. I am your koala, the foolish Fuji or Fulia, whichever is easiest. Fuji is also fine. Where do I go from here? Oh, that's right. I can just talk about stuff. I just want to take a moment to say a big thank you to everybody who supports the podcast and my content in general. Really love you all. Appreciate it. And looking forward to planning out the rest of the year. I already know what the rest of the year in the podcast topics will be. So hopefully you all look forward to listening to that. So 2024 will be ending with some exciting stuff, hopefully, and then maybe something festive in December, but we'll see. You will all find out when December rolls around. But for today's episode, I am going to be answering your questions. That's right. It is another edition of Ask Koala Anything, the AKA episode of the Many Thoughts I Have. And I did put a call out for some questions. And you all, you came through. You came through for your koala with all of your amazing and maybe a few little humorous questions, but that's fine. It's totally fine. I will answer them nonetheless, or I will at least do my best. I have read the questions ahead of time, but I haven't exactly formulated any kind of answers for them. So we'll just see how we go. We shall see what I can come up with. So let's just, I suppose, jump straight into it, shall we? So we're going to start off with Sam Dan's Couch, and I'm pretty sure this is mostly Sam who's asking. Hello, Sam. Hope you're well. Hope you're adjusting to your European German ways of life now. But anyway, getting into Sam's question. Okay. And this is Sam asking, okay, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know how much a wood could. See, I can't even say it without even. This is a bit of a tongue twister for me. A wood could. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I used to be able to say that a lot faster growing up, honestly. But yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. That question, I'm pretty sure there's an answer to it in the form of actually saying that whole phrase again. But I don't remember it. So we're just going to leave it at that. Sorry, Sam. I have no answer for you for that one. First question off the ranks. Already failed. Cool. This is going to be great. Let's see how the rest of this episode goes. But Sam also has a second question, and she asks, what is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten and why? And did you love it or hate it? What is the weirdest thing I've ever eaten? I don't know that I would say it's the weirdest thing that I've eaten. I mean, I've eaten food that a lot of people or cultures might consider it to be weird. But I can say, and I know a lot of people, I don't know, maybe some people might feel a little grossed out by it. But in the Turkish culture, at least, we have some Turkish cuisines that might seem a little strange to others, but could also be normal to the rest. And for us, especially in the Middle East, I'd say it's not that strange to use, to eat the organs of an animal. So with us, it's mainly like sheep, like sheep's heart, or not that I've had the sheep's heart, actually. There are organs that I won't touch, including sheep's heart. Kidney, I'm not a big fan of. Was it kidney? No, liver. I'm not a big fan of liver. I've had liver growing up. I don't really like it. My parents love it. especially when they sort of saute it and then season it with some salt and cumin. But I don't know. I think it's just the texture and the flavor of liver is it's just a bit weird for me. But I have eaten like stuffed sheep's stomach or sheep's intestine. So they stuff it with like rice and meat, like mince meat. Obviously, they thoroughly clean it out before they do any, and they boil the intestine and the stomach as well. But once that's done, then they stuff it with a mixture with like this rice and mince meat mixture, and then they boil it again. But then they also add like other sort of like seasonings and flavoring, like my mum uses lemon, and lemon is like a good way to take away a lot of the really strange and gross odors that you might get from those types of ingredients. So lemon is always a great way to just cut through all the bad smells essentially of any kind of gamey food. So yeah, I have had I've had that, sheep stomach and intestine stuffed with rice and meat, but I don't know that for me, like to me, that doesn't seem weird. To a lot of other people, it might. I don't know, but that's just what I grew up on. So yeah, let's just say that's probably what I wouldn't consider it the weirdest thing, but yeah, if I was to think about the weirdest thing I've eaten, I would say then crocodile. When I was up in Cairns in northern Queensland, this was like back when I was, I think before I even went into my 20s. We went up to Cairns, which is in the northern part of Queensland in Australia, and they obviously have a crocodile sanctuary or farm or whatever you want to call it. So as a family, just for the day, we did the touristy thing of going to said crocodile sanctuary, which is weird because they serve crocodile on the menu at the cafe / restaurant that's there, which is really strange. But yeah, I got to taste it. It was more of like a tasting platter. Like you get like a few pieces on a skewer that they've cooked up on I don't know, maybe on like a hibachi grill or something like that. But yeah, that's probably the weirdest thing that I've eaten to date. I can't really think of anything else that could be weird, so let's just leave it there. Thank you for your question, Sam. Our next batch of questions comes to us from Smashy Ashy, who is also my Maple Leaf Queen mod from Canada. Hello, Ash. How are you? And she's got a few questions for me. And she starts off with the first one. If you couldn't be a koala, what would you be and why? If I couldn't be a koala? Well, if I couldn't be a lazy koala, then how about... Does it have to be a real animal? It probably does. Well, I'm not quite sure what I'd want to be if I wasn't a koala. Honestly, if I think about it, I wouldn't mind being a bird, or maybe not so much for like it's more so just for the flying aspect of it. Like if I couldn't be a koala being lazy and just eating and sleeping, I'd want to be a bird that flies around. I guess to fly anywhere and everywhere with no limitations. Well, maybe some limitations. Don't go as high as an airplane and get stuck in the... Yeah, let's not go there. See where my brains go? That's where my thoughts go. But yeah, I wouldn't mind being a bird, as free as a bird, as they say, just to be able to fly around go wherever I want, and that'd be really cool. Her second question is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Well, considering the fact that I just answered the first question and saying that I wanted to fly, I'd say my superpower, I would love to be able to fly. I want to be able to just fly to different places and countries if I could, without having to worry about, airspace legalities and all that sort of stuff. Just be able to just get myself to places with no need for any other type of vehicle. Like, I don't want to be relying on vehicles that might have mechanical issues. If I have problems, I'll be able to sort it out by going to the doctor. I know that that's the same. You could sort of say the same thing for vehicles. If there's a problem with it, you take it to a mechanic. But I normally know what to do in order to make myself feel better. So I can be my own mechanic. I can look after myself. I'll know what to do. But yeah, I would love flying to be my superpower, to be honest. That would be awesome. And just the convenience of being able to just get to work without having to worry about traffic either. That'd be amazing. Yeah. Flying. That is definitely a superpower I'd love to have. Her third question: if you could change anything about yourself internally or externally, what and why? And then she continues to say, and be prepared for me to chime in that ain't nothing wrong with you. We love you as you are. Aw, thank you, Ash. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Honestly, if I could change anything about myself internally or externally, externally, there are some physical aspects that I would like to change. more so to, I do have some issues with my body, and I know it's hard to, it's hard not to judge yourself when you should just be happy with what you've got. But the other thing is that if you want to change, if you want to change aspects of yourself, then you kind of need to sort of motivate yourself to do that. I've been wanting to be a bit more active since I dropped off from hockey. I'm on a bit of a hockey hiatus at the moment. So I haven't been very active, unfortunately, which means, not being very active then means that you don't burn as much energy, which in turn turns into fat that is not necessary for my body. And I've been tossing and turning about what I want to do about it. I've had moments of motivation of like, oh yes, I'm going to go to my local leisure center. I'm going to, sign up to their membership and be able to use their facilities, including going to classes, like fitness classes, and, maybe even use the swimming pools that are there. I even ended up buying a new bathing suit specifically for exercise purposes, not bikinis or anything like that, just like a proper one piece bathing suit so that I can use it for swimming, for exercise. And I still haven't gone. That's happened. I had gotten to a point where I was like, when I first stopped going to hockey, I was trying to exercise at home. So I ended up buying myself a pair of runners, and I was buying extra, exercise equipment to use at home. I used it for maybe a few weeks, and then it got to like maybe a few times a month. And now I've completely stopped. So exercise for me is very difficult, which in turn means me trying to lose weight is very difficult because my motivation to do the exercise is very low. We'll just put it that way. So externally, yeah, I would like to be a little bit leaner, I suppose. Would be nice. But also, internally, I would like to be a bit more confident in like just about myself, just being able to just to get out there and not be so, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Well, I have self confidence issues, which, you know, well, yeah, I have them. I'm pretty sure everybody has some form of mental health, like self-confidence or some form of mental health problem that sort of hinders them from doing the things they want to do. And yeah, for me, it's self-confidence. And I think it's sort of, the self-confidence sort of works hand in hand with the external part of me wanting to change things. So yeah, there are things that I want to be a little bit better at. But confidence is definitely one of them because I really don't have it. I may seem like I have it, but it's, at face value, it's literally just, I'm sitting in front of a camera. I am talking to you all through a microphone. I'm by myself. No one's around me to judge me when I do this sort of stuff. The only person who can judge me right now is me. And so, yeah, they're like, I understand that, yes, Ash, you are going to definitely chime in and yell at me later when you listen to this to tell me you don't need to change anything. We love you just the way you are. And that's how I should be thinking as well, that I should just love myself the way I am. But I know that everybody has they have some form of issue with themselves, whether it's internally or externally. So they definitely do want to do something about it. I just haven't found the motivation. I found motivation. I haven't found the right one. There hasn't been the right motivation for me to push myself to do the things that I want to do in order to change those aspects of myself. So when I find it, I will let you know, and you will probably see that change. Thank you, Ash, for your questions. I love you. Thank you very much. You are the best. Our next question comes in from Nagachaka. Hello. Hi, Matt. How you doing? And he asks, what's 2 things that you absolutely love about yourself? That's right. It's time for some self-care. There we go. Okay. So from going from Ash's, Ash's final question of wanting to change something about myself where I was a little negative, now we're going into something positive. What are 2 things that I absolutely love about myself? I love that my laugh is infectious, that a lot of people, and my smile, to sort of go with it, that everybody can, that I'm glad that I can make people smile and laugh. And so my infectious smile is definitely something I really love. And I hope it stays that way, for many more years. That's one thing. The other thing that I love about myself is, well, I suppose the one thing that I could say I love about myself, but also it's also kind of a bit of a pain, is that I care too much about my work. Like, it's a good thing. I care about my work and I do it well. I know I do it well, and that's what I love about. That's the other aspect of myself that I really love, that I am able to put in all of the effort and care into my job where it needs to go, but still it still can be a bit of a pain because I feel like I'm the only one who cares sometimes. More so just in the role that I am, not specifically any other role in the store, because I work in a retail store. Working out the back is a little difficult, especially when it's mostly male dominated in that role specifically, because there's a lot of heavy lifting involved, pushing big items like TVs and doing inspections and, picking and packing orders, speaking to customers about their faulty items. It can be difficult, to say the least. And especially because of the fact that most of the time those roles are usually covered by males. But considering that I'm not the only female in this role, since I'm going to say 2022, when this new change came about at the company, I saw myself working at the back because I found myself, the work that is involved in working out in the back of house area, for me, was more intuitive to what I enjoyed doing in the store. Because originally when I started working at the retail store, I was in sales. When I first started, that's where I was. I was in sales and I hated every moment of it. Trying to upsell customers to buy extra things to go with their one main thing, or, trying to get them to buy, certain services and all that jazz. And I just, for whatever reason, I didn't have the passion for sales. I had the passion to get the job. That was that was my drive, especially considering the fact that I got this job during 2020, if you remember that year. Getting that job was very important to me because mentally I could not stand being at home any longer, but also not being able to financially look after myself was also another stress that I was going through during that year, as much as everybody else was. And working at home I'm not the type of person who could do a work at home sort of situation. I can't. My being at home is a space where I would rather be, relaxed and enjoying myself and doing the things that I love to do, like this, like podcasting and talking to you all amazing people. So going back to the thing that I love about myself with my job, I love that I can put aside my, no, that's not where I was going with that. I love that I can just concentrate on my work. That's what I wanted to say. I love that I can focus on what I'm doing in the moment, making sure that things also look neat and tidy, because not trying to stereotype here or anything like that. And males can be very messy. There are males out there who are very neat and tidy. I know that. So this is just me kind of generalizing a little bit that males can be a bit messy. It's also the same at the workplace. For whatever reason, especially in a retail store, it's hard to keep spaces, in order with less mess. But for I don't know how it happens, but mess is still created and I hate it. So I'm usually the one that cleans it up. So that's also I love that about myself, but I also hate myself about it. I hate myself for that too, because it means that I'm cleaning up after everybody else's mess, and which is something that I've been trying to stop myself from doing. And I've also learnt that, that I need to speak to the higher ups, speak to my managers about it, let them hear my voice, and even speak to my coworkers who are leaving the mess and be like, hey, I don't want to always be cleaning up your mess. Can you please make sure that this is not here, or, you clean up your desk at the end of the day or whatever have you, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, as they say, to be able to, care about the job so much. Thank you, Matt, for that question. Really appreciate you for that. Next question comes in from Savoy Prime. Hello, Ron. Brother Bear, how are you? And he says, okay, Koala. First question. So how has it felt to be the captain of the PlayStation Drive ship not once, but twice? Let me correct you there, Brother Bear. I have been the captain of the PlayStation Drive, not twice, but thrice. I've had to, for those of you who don't know, I am one of the co-hosts over on the PlayStation Drive with the Carpool Gaming team. And for the last 3 weeks or 3 episodes of the PlayStation Drive, I've had to lead the team and lead the podcast, essentially. I've sort of put my hand up to be the captain of that ship for temporarily. It's not permanent. Due to, like Ryan, who's usually the one that's hosting and leading the show, he's had some things come up with work and personal reasons. So it's kind of fallen onto me. Like, honestly though, I feel like, Ron, you could definitely lead the way if you just had, you could definitely host the show for sure. I know you'll have your own flair to it. I'll know that much, but but you can do it. I know you can. And yeah, for me though, how has it felt leading the show? For me, well, I don't know. It's been fun. I'm going to put that out there. It's definitely been fun to lead the PlayStation Drive. I've been really enjoying just being on the podcast itself in general. It's been so much fun. It's the one thing one of the things that I really look forward to doing every Monday morning. And actually hosting the show, let's just say, it has been a little nerve-wracking for me, only because of the fact that I'm always worried about screwing up or forgetting something, forgetting to mention like something important. I've been trying to do the podcast the way that Ryan would do it, but then I have to remind myself that it's not Ryan's podcast that we're a guest on. It's a team's podcast. And so we can put in our own flair to it as long as it's still the same structure. And I think that's kind of where I ended up going with the 3rd episode that I had to host, which was the most recent one last week. And yeah, I think I was just putting a bit too much pressure on myself, and everybody has been so nice and very positive with their feedback on how well I've been hosting the show, and I really appreciate all of that, all of those nice words. I really do. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a little stressful, but we got through it, and I still managed to get out at the end of it without collapsing of nerves. But I was able to hold my own, I suppose. That's kind of where that's sort of going. I did my best to make sure that I held my own, and that I didn't let the pressure of hosting get to me. That was the other thing, because I've been podcasting for quite some time now. It's been what? It's been like 8 years, maybe, roughly. Yeah, I've been podcasting for roughly 8 years. But I haven't, like, the podcast that I've been on, I'm not necessarily the host of. I'm like I'm a co-host, yes, as I am on the PlayStation Drive, but I'm not the host, like the lead of the show, of those podcasts. I'm not the lead. But when I'm given the opportunity to lead, that's when I start to scramble a little bit, but then I remind myself to just take a breath It's going to be fine. You're going to have fun. And that's it. And then I just roll with it. So, yeah. Captaining the PlayStation Drive for a few weeks has been good. It's been good practice for sure, definitely. It's definitely been good practice to just sort of lead the podcast. And because for me to be able to make sure I'm doing the right sort of thing in terms of, reading off the Patreon lists, reading off, the important, housekeeping notes and all that sort of stuff. Like, as long as I hit those points, practicing it, like actually doing it in practice will definitely get me to remember to do it more often. And that's how I work. As long as I'm actually doing the job, like I'm actually doing the task and not just I'm a very visual and sort of I'm a visual learner, but I'm also the type of person who learns better on the job. So don't put me in a classroom and give me all this theory. Actually get me out there, let me get my hands dirty and actually do the work, because then I'll be able to retain that information better. And then I'll be able to, as long as there's like repetition and I just keep doing it, I'll always remember how to do it. So yeah, hopefully I'm pretty sure there will be more opportunities to host the PlayStation Drive and maybe even host the other shows or even like something else. I don't know. But yeah, it's been fun. The long of the short of it is TLDR, I've been having fun. But Ron also has a second question, and he asks, do you think that caravan sandwich is going to be the truth? Okay, I had to ask for clarification on that one because I had no idea what that slang was. So the non-slang version of that question is, do you think caravan sandwich will be really good? I didn't know that, but thank you for the clarification, Ron. I appreciate you. But apparently Ron thinks it's going to be really good. I personally haven't played the demo. I kind of wish I did. It is on my wish list. It does look interesting. However, knowing me, I am the type of person who would really, really like a demo. And I know that, demos for me always work really well. Just because at least that way, if I can play it, and if I don't like it, then, I can at least say I tried it, Unfortunately, there's no demo for this game. However, it is out now on Steam and I think on PlayStation. I'm pretty sure it's out on PlayStation. Hang on. Let me double check for you all live while recording this. Caravan Sandwich. The Sandwich, yes, yeah, it is out on PlayStation as well. Yeah, so if you're looking forward to playing the game, it's definitely out right now on PlayStation and on Steam or for PC. I don't know if it's available on other platforms. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It might be out on Xbox and Nintendo Switch, but I'm not 100% sure. But it is definitely out on Steam and on PlayStation 5. With an introductory offer, by the way. So if you're looking to grab a hold of the game, usually when they first release and there's an introductory offer, it's usually a good time to buy. Otherwise, you can wait for other sales. I'm sure it'll go on sale later down the track, especially with Black Friday and all that sort of stuff coming up. But yeah, Caravan Sandwich, it like I said, it looks interesting. I'm just not 100% sure I'm ready to jump into something like this at this particular time, just because I've got a lot of other things I want to get to. Not to mention the fact that I'm still trying to finish off Astrobot. Yes, Astrobot released this month. That's one thing that I will say that has been a bit of a joy this past week and a bit. I've been really enjoying playing Astrobot. It's been really good fun. I have raged a few times through some of the challenge runs, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who has. But managing to get through it all, I know 100% I'm going to 100% it. I want to platinum that game. It's going to happen. It might take me a little bit of time, but it's going to happen. But Caravan Sandwich, yeah, I agree. It looks good. I'm just not ready to play that at this particular point in time. So that's going to sit in my wish list for a little while until I am ready. But it looks like it's going to have some good platforming action and some puzzles. So yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. And it's very sci-fi as well. So yeah, I hope you manage to pick it up, and I know you're going to put it on your wheel and then spin the wheel, and then eventually, hopefully, one day it'll get chosen for you to play. And I hope you enjoy it when it is chosen. Okay. Ron also has one last question. Who's your favorite superhero heroine that isn't Gambit? Ooh, okay. Okay, so I do love my superheroes, but I don't know that I really have. No, I can't say that I don't have a favorite. I think I might have a favorite. Hold on, let me sip my green tea for a sec. Okay, before I found my love for Gambit, because Gambit was more of a recent love. I'm gonna have to say, I'm not quite sure actually. Just trying to sort of siphon through all of the different superheroes that I've come across in my time. Mostly Marvel. Okay. All right, yeah. I think Thor has been my overall favorite, superhero. And not just because it was, Chris Hemsworth, although he did bring a bit of a charm to the character that I really like. But yeah, I think Thor he's been my favorite throughout the whole of the MCU, especially when it's first started. And I think it's just mostly because of the fact that, it's all about being worthy to be able to carry that hammer. And for him, it took him a long time to realize what his worth was to be able to carry that hammer in that first movie, more specifically. And it wasn't just about strength, and it wasn't really just about courage. It was, just that he had to look within himself to be able to get to that point. And I really like that about the first film of Thor. And yeah, and ever since then, I kind of sort of fell in love with the MCU, and then wanted to learn more about Thor. I've gone out of my way to get comics about Thor, so I do have a few issues of comics with Thor and Loki, by the way. I'd say Thor has been not as much of my favorite recently as Gambit has been. That amazing Cajun, that card dealing Cajun, I can't get enough of him. I honestly can't. So yeah, there you go. Thor. He's my other favorite superhero that isn't Gambit. I can honestly say Wolverine has been pretty cool too. Yeah, Wolverine's been good. I like Wolverine as well. Yeah, no, that's it. I think they're the only two. In terms of heroines, It's really hard to pinpoint heroines because there hasn't been very many of them. But I think when Ms. Marvel started, like the show, when that started, I could see myself really liking her a lot more. She's been really cool. She's funny as well. But the fact of the matter is she's a teenager. So moving into this superhero role. And yeah, the fact that she's got this, like, at that young age, she idolizes Captain Marvel for a start. And so that's why she's always so smitten and hard, like she has a hard time talking to Captain Marvel when she meets her in the Marvels, which I recently watched, by the way, in the last couple of months. And so, yeah, Kamala Khan has been a breath of fresh air, I think, for the MCU. So she's been really cool. And yeah, if I was her age when, you know, when this show kind of started, I probably would have said that Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, was like one of my favorite heroines because, you know, she's also very relatable, which has been really cool. So yeah, there you go. There's a few options for you. He also finishes off by saying, "Can't wait to hear the episode. Brother Bear loves you." Thank you. I love you too, Ron. You're the best. Thank you very much. And I think, oh, that's right. Sam came in with another question because when I asked for clarification on the caravan sandwich question that Ron asked, then Sam sort of joined in on the conversation and said, "All this sandwich talk is making me hungry. I shall now add one more question. What's the koala's favorite sandwich?" And that's going to be our last question for the episode. My favorite sandwich. Wow. If we're talking toasted sandwiches, or toasties as I like to call them, if we're talking toasties, I would probably say just a simple cheese and tomato, maybe a slice of ham, but generally just a cheese and tomato toasty. I like to give it a little extra flair by adding in either spring onions, like sliced up spring onions, or maybe like a spoonful of fried onions, like the fried shallots that you get at the Asian grocers. And adding that into the toasty, because when the cheese melts into it all and it all sort of goes gooey and yum. Add onion, add fried onion or spring onion to the toasted sandwich. It'll be really good. It tastes just really nice. Yeah. Sometimes I also, if it's around, sometimes I'll get a little bougie with my toasties, and I'll end up doing like maybe a cheese, ham, and olives. Sometimes. And this is what I think I did this a while back. I don't know. I don't really do it too much now. Sometimes I'll get like sliced up mushrooms, and I'll saute the mushrooms with some seasoning, like some, onion and garlic powder and some salt and pepper. Saute that first, and then once it's all like nice and softened and cooked through, then in the toasty, I will have, cheese, put the mushrooms and, maybe some spring onion on top, and then another slice of cheese. So we're doubling the cheese on both ends with the sliced bread, and then put it in your sandwich press, and voila, there you go. There's your bougie mushroom and cheese sandwich. But if we're talking fresh sandwiches, like not toasted, but just fresh ones, I don't always go out of my way to make fresh sandwiches, but when I do, it's usually whatever is available in the fridge, whatever I can find in the fridge. Sometimes mum buys, sliced cold meats, sliced leg ham, like honey leg ham, or maybe some sliced turkey, or shaved. from the deli. And yeah, I'll get my sliced deli meats. I think for me, my favorite bread to have is it's a baguette, but it's one that we get from our local supermarket called Coles. And they sell these really nice and it's one of those long baguettes that, French stick, like a French stick bread, like a really big one. And then you sort of slice it up into shorter baguettes. So I'll get when Mum brings home a baguette, I'll sort of slice off maybe kind of like a 6-inch sub almost. So like I'm making a sub, like a Subway sandwich. So I'll get like a 6-inch sub, or maybe it might be 8 because I might be feeling a little bit more hungry. So I'll make it a little bigger, and then I'll add in my sliced meats. And I'll put in some form of like salad, like, I don't know. Usually I like using spinach leaves. Because between that and iceberg lettuce, I kind of feel like spinach for me has a better flavor to iceberg lettuce. But, to each their own. Everybody's different. Everyone's got a different taste. So yeah, I'll do sliced meat. I'll do some spinach, spring onion. And then maybe if I've got them on hand, maybe some sliced olives and cucumber. Must have cucumber. My sandwiches must always have cucumbers, unless they're being toasted, then that's a different story. And then just season it. In terms of like a dressing, like a sauce, what would I put in there? Sometimes I just leave it as it is with no sauce and just eat it like that, and that's still actually pretty good. But if I was to add a sauce, I would normally, it really depends on the meat. Depends on the meat. If it's a ham, then I might add some mustard, but mustard seeds. I'll go with Mum likes to get like a jar of mustard seeds, like the spreadable ones. So I'll get like a spoonful of that and spread it on the bottom side of the sandwich before I add in all the other ingredients. Sometimes I like having aioli. Other times I'll just have plain mayo. So it really depends on the type of sandwich that I'm making that I'll end up putting that kind of sauce in it. I don't go out of my way to use tomato sauce / ketchup or barbecue sauce or anything like that. I usually sort of stick to the mustards or the creamy sort of mayo style type of sauces. Mum has bought like a peri-peri sort of a sauce, like a mayonnaise style thing. I think Mum's also bought like a pesto mayo. I've also, gone out of my way to use Kewpie mayo. Kewpie mayo's great. I love Kewpie mayo. It's probably my favorite mayo between all the other mayos in terms of just having mayonnaise of any kind. Kewpie mayo's got like the better flavoring, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, I think that's usually what I would do. Yeah, whatever cold cut meat I can get or whatever's around in the fridge, I'll have that with some salad. And if I feel like having sauce on it, then I'll add sauce to it. But otherwise, it's perfect the way it is. But yeah, that's usually more of a summertime. I don't always eat sandwiches. It's more of a summertime snack or lunch or whatever for me. Sometimes I'll have sandwiches if I feel like it, but most of the time I don't. I don't eat a lot of bread as much as I used to compared to all the other carbs that I eat, like pasta and, potato, rice, cereal. I'll eat them, but bread not as much. So yeah, there you go, Sam. That's my sandwich preference, if you want to put it that way. And it's 9:22 p.m. here, and I'm getting hungry again. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. At this time of night, I really didn't want to have to be feeling hungry like a couple of hours before going to bed. But yeah, that's I think that's all the questions. I'm just gonna quickly double check because I did put a call out on X or Twitter, if you want to call it that. And I did put a call out for it. I don't think I got any other extra questions from it. No, I have not. That's fine. All good. We got a good number of questions for this particular episode, and I did tell myself that I didn't want to go over an hour, although I think a lot of you don't mind it when I go over an hour, which I appreciate, but but sometimes it does take it out of me a little bit, especially for my voice to last longer than an hour when I do these solo podcasts. So yeah, that's all good. Thank you very much for all of your questions, everyone. I really appreciate you all for that. The next episode, you will find out next month what it will be. But I'm pretty sure the October episode for this year is going to be about PAX, because that's where I'm going to be going. That's where I'm heading. And yeah, so hopefully you look forward to my ramblings about PAX Australia next month in the next edition of the Many Thoughts I Have. But that's it from me. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the Many Thoughts I Have podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you give it a 5-star review or rating on your podcast service of choice. Remember that you can also comment on each episode over on Spotify. And if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on socials at Foolish Fuji on X and Instagram. For video content, you can head over to youtube.com/Foolish Fuji. And for my live streams, twitch.tv/Foolish All this and more will be on my website, foolishfuji.card.co. That's card with 2 R's. All of the info I just rolled off will be in the show notes as well. That's it from me. Remember to look after yourself and your mental health. And happy thinking, friends.